The holidays can be a super relaxing time, but they can also be extra challenging. Hey everyone, it's Emily, the Career Catalyst. I want to talk today about doing some refreshing and resetting if you can over the holidays, but also give you some options if that's not really the way you can manage your life right now. So if you have a job that pays you well enough, you're okay with the financial aspect of it, I really encourage you to spend some time over the holidays, just really relaxing, having some fun, spending some time with your loved ones, and just really having that freedom to reset for the new year. If you're looking to change, this can be a really good time just to refresh a little bit so that you have the energy to put into seeking a new job in 2023. Now, here's the hard part. If you don't currently have a job or if you're between things right now, this time of year can be super stressful and really fraught. And part of it, of course, is that you just want to buy friends for loved ones or gifts for friends and loved ones. But part of it is also just this looming anxiety of not having money coming in the door. So if you're in that situation, you just don't have a job right now, feeling nervous about groceries and rent and gas and those kinds of things, I'm going to encourage you to think about a gig job. Now, some gig jobs are the ones we think of. Those are the ones where you're delivering for Instacart or perhaps driving for Uber, those kinds of things. And those are absolutely gig jobs. And if those sound appealing, think about them because they definitely have some potential there and some merit to them. The drawback to a lot of the gig jobs that I see, of course, is that they don't allow for things like sick leave. And so I don't recommend them for long-term solutions for anything unless you just really enjoy doing them. If you enjoy doing them, just keep doing it. And you'll want to get insurance and worry about all of that stuff and save up some money in case you do get sick. For the rest of us, though, I think they're really just kind of stopgaps for what's next. So think about what kinds of skills you have that you wouldn't mind using just to get over some tougher financial times. So a lot of times we think only of those driving jobs as gig opportunities, but there are actually plenty of other things that you can do. And so you can go to websites and just, job boards and put in gig job and see what comes up. And I'm going to post a link here in the comments also that is a board that I really like a lot that describes gig jobs. It's not actually a job board, so you're not going to be able to apply directly on the site, but it's going to walk you through what some of your options are, which is really nice if you're just looking to perhaps earn a little bit of extra cash for the holidays, or if you want to figure out how to bridge your current situation so that you can feel okay about taking a little bit of time finding your next job. Think about what you're willing to put up with and what you aren't. And if you choose to do a gig job, really give yourself some guidelines. Those are going to include things like the time frame that you're willing to do the work. I would encourage you to start that now, as opposed to finding the gig and then going into it, because that can be a much harder course to chart because you're in the job at that point. And you get a little bit stuck. And we all have a bit of a tendency to favor work that's familiar, even if we're not enjoying it. It's the devil you know, as they say. And so you'll want to know kind of what your plan is, because if you give yourself 3 months to do a gig job, then you can start now-ish, get some money coming in and feel okay about things. But starting within 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to want to start looking for another job that's got a little bit more potential and ideally also gives you some benefits. So give yourself an idea of your timeline. You don't want to set it in stone because, of course, life can get a little bit messy, but you'll have kind of an end date in mind as you look for some of those gig jobs. And try not to think of them as step down kinds of opportunities. They're really just a move to shore things up. And you have a few different options for managing your gig job if you do choose to have one in terms of putting it on your resume. For one thing, you can choose not to put it on your resume at all, and that's completely fine. You shouldn't feel weird about it, or you can put it on with just some information about what you did. So this is particularly a good way of thinking about it and approaching it if the gig work you're going to be doing is related to what you hope to be doing in the future. So if you take, let's say, a blog writing gig, and you want to do something that's related to writing afterwards, then absolutely that should fit on there. You should get permission from the folks that you're blogging for to use the website you're posting on in your portfolio and so forth. So think about kind of how a potential gig job is going to fit in with your larger plans, and give yourself some options as you're choosing them. So don't just apply to one blog writing gig job site. Put your information up on a handful of them and play around with your wording if it's one of those boards like TaskRabbit, where people choose to hire you for those kinds of skill sets. If you do choose to post on a TaskRabbit kind of site, just also make sure that you're not the cheapest. You don't want to be the bargain basement option for this. So price yourself around the midpoint. So do some research, poke around on the site, see what you can see. Other places are just going to give you a range, right? So if you're driving for a Lyft, they're going to pay you what they pay you. And of course, it does get a little bit better if you're driving at sort of less desirable times. So, you know, on holidays, during snowstorms, those kinds of things. But it's completely your choice. So think about that. Regardless, if you can, I really do encourage you to take a little bit of downtime this time of year, just to really sleep in a bit, to do something that you enjoy, maybe bake some cookies, something like that. If you have a chance, you can go for a mountain hike. I'm in Denver, so I always think of mountains. Do something that's just relaxing and that really fills you up so that you can start the new year with a nice refreshed mindset and hit that job search hard. And I will be here to support you along the way. Happy holidays.